It's fascinating to hear you put forward what is a contrarian view, this idea that actually China isn't bulletproof, because I know we do hold it up to be this, or that it is. It's on an inexorable rise to world domination, and this interplay. I'd like to hang on a little bit more between their approach to economic affairs, their own ambitions, and ours in the West, and how that's influencing us and perhaps relations within the West. So I want to talk a little bit about one of their huge policy initiatives, the China's Belt and Road Initiative, which I guess is a modern day Silk Road. It's their way of getting back to being the point of departure and return for all economic goods, or a vast majority of them. And so it's one big trade route incorporating as many countries as possible. And I noticed when I looked on a map of it that in Europe, all the Central and Eastern European countries have signed a memorandum of understanding, and only 2 Western European nations have. Austria and Portugal are signed up. I don't know how Portugal are going to be connected when no one else is between them and Austria, but I'd like to know, based on your investigations, Ian, whether that's causing divisions in Europe, and where we might go from there, whether that Belt and Road Initiative will continue.
I think it's in trouble. It's in trouble because there's such a lot of debt in the system. It's almost like an international version of the problems they have at home. They've lent $1 trillion by most estimates across the world. It's become an umbrella for just about everything China does internationally. It started out as an infrastructure project, by which the world will be blessed with Chinese ports, bridges, roads, railways, power stations, etc. But it's expanded way beyond that. Its principal focus has always been on poorer countries, where Global South has become the new term, but Africa, Southeast Asia. But countries have run up enormous debts, and it's also there's a lack of transparency in the lending. There is a lot of corruption. It's China's way of exerting its influence, and there is on the countries that have tended to take most money from China are those which can be easily dragooned into to support China in votes in the UN or elsewhere when it comes to human rights, Xinjiang, Hong Kong, Tibet. But more recently, China's demonstrated that its behavior towards indebted countries, it's behaved a little bit like an international loan shark, because it won't accept rescheduling, or it won't accept writing off debts. And they've been very, very tough in their relations and in their discussions with debtor countries, while refusing to join any international mechanism to ease indebtedness. And I think this is becoming, the number of loans under the Belt and Road has also slowed down quite considerably as a result of this. And Xi Jinping, and they recently celebrated the 10th anniversary of it, has been trying to refocus it more on renewables. I mean, China's got a lot of stuff, a lot of over capacity, and it wants to dump it somewhere. And this is another route by which it can go down. But in terms of Europe, China's policy has always been to divide Europe from America. This has been fundamental to Communist Party policy, and also to divide the EU between the Central and the Eastern European countries and Western Europe. They had a mechanism called the 17+1, which was mainly the Central and East European countries. That's more or less frozen now, because several countries have left after the sanctions, after the dispute with Lithuania. Lithuania left the 17.1. There was a lot of sympathy for Lithuania, but a lot of the countries who were party to these agreements, BRI, and the 17.1 usually comes under that, have complained that it just hasn't delivered. They haven't got what they were promised, and there's a lot of political baggage that comes with it in terms of influence operations within their countries. Italy left before Christmas. having said it had delivered nothing. I mean, Italy was the most important, I think, Western European partner for China, for the BRI, because it was the only member of the G7 that signed up. Even countries like Greece, who were at one point quite enthusiastic, have become more lukewarm. A Chinese state-owned company bought Piraeus Port, which they have been investing quite a lot of money in. And this actually goes to the heart of what the BRI is ultimately about. The company, COSCO, when they bought Piraeus Port, which was in trouble financially and couldn't find any other partner, but COSCO at the time was several times more indebted than the port. But it didn't matter because, of course, they weren't playing by the same rules. This was a strategic investment. The Piraeus Port was described as the dragon's head in Europe of the BRI, and it didn't, for the party, there was not the same commercial considerations that might have been the case with others. It wanted to acquire the port for other reasons. I mean, since then, there's been a lot of criticism of environmental damage, of Chinese labor being brought into the port, of promises not being fulfilled. And there's now a more conservative government in Athens than previously, who are much more cautious about their relationship with China. And I think caution prevails through Eastern and Central Europe, with the exception, of course, of Hungary, where Viktor Orban has become not only close to Putin, but also very close to Xi, and has unashamedly gone out to court Chinese investment in Hungary. There has been opposition to this. There have been protests over a number of initiatives, including the attempted opening of a Chinese university in Budapest, and over the implications that might have for freedom of expression. But in December, they signed a deal whereby BYD, which is China's biggest electric vehicle manufacturer, and indeed the world's biggest, they've just taken over recently from Tesla, will build a plant in Hungary. And this is, a smart way, as BYD would see it, of sidestepping potential tariffs that might be imposed by Brussels, which is currently investigating electric vehicle imports from China. So it has created a lot of divisions over investment. There are continuing divisions between countries, but also within. Germany, for instance, produced quite a robust policy on China not so long ago, which suggested that they had to de-risk, they had to examine their relationships on multiple levels with China to look at the risks posed to overdependence and of technology going to the army and other security apparatus. But Germany's major manufacturers, whether it's BASF or the motor manufacturers, VW, Mercedes, they're heavily dependent upon China. They have heavy investments there and have been doubling down on those investments. VW's taken a lot of stick because of their plants in Xinjiang, and are examining their tie-ups in that province where there's been particular repression. But within Germany, especially with the economy slowing down, there is tension between the political objectives of the government, which is to lessen dependence on China, and the reality of an export sector which is very, very reliant on the Chinese market.